व्रज जनरञ्जना यशोदनन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जना यमुनतीरावनचारि यमुनतीरावनचारि जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय राधा मुरलीधर राधे जय गौरचंद्र जय गौरचंद्र श्री गौरचंद्र जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद नित्य गौर हरिबो नित्य गौर हरिबो नित्य गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, the Samava and Bonam, Chapter 60, Text 36. Om Namo.
It's a little muffled. The sound is a little muffled. Maybe it's just me.
Is it better, Prabhu?
Yeah, much better. Thank you.
Sorry. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudirayet Nashtaprayeshu Bhatreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Ruttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. So, we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, the Samam and Bonam, Chapter 60, verse 36. Tvatpada-padma-makaranda-jusham muninam vatpasputam nrupashubhir-pramudurvibhavyam yasmadalaukikamivehitam ishwarasya bhumam stavehitam atha anodye bhavantam. So, whatever meaning, but your pada of the feet, padma, lotus-like, makaranda, the honey, jusham, who relish, muninam, for sages, vatma, your path, asphutam, not apparent, nra, in human form, pashubi, by animals, nanu, certainly then, durvibhavyam, impossible to comprehend, yasma, because, alaukikam, supramundane, Iva, as if, ihitam, the activities, Ishwarasya, of the Supreme Lord, Bhuman, O all-powerful one, Tava, your, ihitam, activities, Atha, you, therefore, Anu, following, Ye, who, Bhavantam, you. Translation and purport by the disciples of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Disciples of Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. Your movements, inscrutable even for sages who relish the honey of your lotus feet, are certainly incomprehensible for human beings who behave like animals. And just as your activities are transcendental, O all-powerful Lord, so too are those of your followers. Purport. Here, Queen Rukmini replies to Lord Krishna's statement in text 13. Apastavartmanam pumsam aloka pathamiyusham astitah padavim subru prayasidanti yoshita. O fine-browed lady, women are usually destined to suffer when they stay with men whose behavior is uncertain and who pursue a path not approved by society. In the present verse, Rukmini is taking the term aloka patham to mean unworldly path. Those who are entangled in worldly behavior are trying to enjoy this world more or less like animals. Even if such people are culturally advanced, they should simply be considered sophisticated or polished animals. Rukmini Devi points out that because of Lord's activities are always transcendental, they are apashta or unclear to ordinary people. And even the sages are trying to know the Lord cannot perfectly understand these activities. We'll recite some prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. So we seek the blessings of Srila Prabhupada, all the senior devotees, Adipurush Prabhu, and then everybody in the call, so that we can discuss for the next 20 to 23 minutes some valuable lessons from this verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. So here the interesting pastime is happening, that a witty conversation between Lord Krishna and Mother Rukmini. And so bhakti is full of rasa. Bhakti is not boring. So it's dynamic. It's not monotonous. So we don't know at what point Lord will react in what particular way. And then, interestingly, even Lord doesn't know how the devotee will react. So Lord knows this much, that devotee is always surrendered to me. That much is there. But how the reaction will be, even Lord also doesn't know. So this is how bhakti is so rich with emotions and then taste, nava nava rasa. That's why it's never boring. And that is the uniqueness of the bhakti path compared to other Vedic paths, or maybe other religious paths. So wherever devotional sentiments are high, and then we have a personal Lord. So that is one unique thing we have. And then the crescendo of all this is listed and documented in Srimad Bhagavatam, and of course in Chaitanya Charitamrita. So that's what Srila Prabhupada gave us. So we should be very grateful to Srila Prabhupada for giving this. So this is one typical pastime where sometimes Lord gets defeated. So the person who is going to keep thunderbolts on everybody, so he is getting defeated by his devotees. So this happens many times. And then, as we discussed, like it's a dynamic exchange between Lord and devotees. Sometimes devotees also accept, Lord's will. It's not that devotees also change their will. So here, Rukmini is, so Krishna presented a lot of arguments why Rukmini made a mistake, how Rukmini made a mistake in choosing him as her husband. And then even now also there is, it's not too late, she can choose somebody else. That's what Krishna is trying to provoke her. And then Rukmini is intelligent enough to counter the arguments. The same statement, whatever Krishna has said, she's saying that, yes, whatever you said is true, but she is giving a different purport. In that way, the bhakti purport. So That's the acharya, so Rukmini Mata, so mother, she's the first teacher even in Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya. So we see like Lord, and then first teacher is Lakshmi ji, so, and then here Srimati Radharani, and then here Rukmini. So she's teaching, telling us, how to understand the hidden meaning, whatever Lord says, because Lord never says false. So whatever Lord says, there is a proper meaning to it. So Lord said, to Mother Yashoda, Mother Yashoda said, did you eat mud, did you eat dirt? Said no. And then the dirt is there around his mouth. So then how Lord doesn't say false? So how Lord doesn't lie? Because everything is inside him, even mud and everything is inside him. So how can you say that he ate something from outside? So in that sense, whatever Lord says is true. So this is what is bewildering. This one small pastime, how Lord gets defeated, is like, so there is one story of Sakshi Gopal. So where it's a long story, but an elderly Brahmana and then an assistant to him. So they are from the close to the southern part of India, Orissa, and they go all the way to the north for a pilgrimage. So this elderly Brahmana and then the assistant young Brahmana are there. So they are not relatives; they are just working together. So they go for a pilgrimage in the northern part of India, and then seeing him very happy, happily serving. So the elderly Brahmana says, "Oh, I have such and such young girl in my family. I'll give her as a in marriage to you when I go back home." So this person says, "Oh," young Brahmana says, "Oh, you are a very rich person. I am a very poor Brahmana. So do you think this will work out?" Said, "No, if I give the word, I'm the head of the family, everybody will accept." So he says that, okay, uh, make a pledge in front of the deity, Gopal deity, so northern part of India. So he says, yes, I'll make a pledge in front of the deity, because deity is a person, and then if you make a pledge in front of Lord or in front of fire sacrifice, fire, yajna, so it's considered writing in stone. So he makes a pledge, and then after he goes back to the Orissa, so then the members of the family say, "Hey, how did you give that word?" And he's a very poor Brahmana. We can't accept this. So the old Brahmana thinks, I'm in a fix what to do. So then the relatives, they push that. Uh, See, you don't say either yes or no. So you just say that I forgot. I don't remember exactly. So then that is like in between stage, because they also are fearful. You took an oath in front of the deity, so you should not purge. So they say that I don't remember. So then this young Brahmana says, "Hey, come on, you took an oath. You have to fulfill it." He says, "Oh, I don't remember." So then this young Brahmana feels bad that it's not that, I'm not getting this marriage done, but, you took an oath in front of the deity, and then it's not fair to, break that. Mm. So all the family members say, "Oh, he took a pledge in front of the deity. So if the deity can come as a witness, so then it's fine. We will accept." So how the deity will come? No, we don't know that. But if somebody can tell the witness, it's fine. So this young Brahmana, he goes all the way to the northern India again on foot. And then he goes to the Gopal deity and he says, "Gopal, so this is what is happening." And then the Gopal deity is so merciful. He starts speaking, Gopalji, that no, I remember, so if I agree with you, so that old Brahmana took the oath, so he has to fulfill. So then he says, okay, then they are asking for a witness. So you come and then give the witness. Then he says, I'm a deity. How can I walk? It's not possible. This is not the purpose of the deity form of manifestation. So then this young Brahmana says, see, you are a deity. You can't talk either, but you are talking. So if you are talking, then you can walk. So then Lord says, "Oh my goodness, my devotees are really intelligent, So I'm defeated." So then he says a lot of conditions, and then it's a big story. Then he comes all the way to close to that place where he is staying, Vidyanagar, I guess. And then the pastime happens. Ultimately, people recognize the deity has come all the way from northern India, walking, and then so they actually conduct the marriage. And then that's why the deity who gave the witness, Sakshi, so he's called Sakshi Gopal. So he's close to Jagannath Puri. So 45 minutes like that. So the idea is like sometimes Lord, surrenders to the will of the devotee, and then he feels happy when he gets defeated. We see in Krishna's pastime also, many of his friends defeat Krishna, and then Krishna carries them on his shoulder. And then similarly, now is the situation where Krishna is getting defeated by Mother Rukmini. Krishna wanted to provoke Mother Rukmini. Oh, you should also be like Satyabhama, very aggressive and then dominating. No, he could not. He failed miserably. So whatever Krishna presented the argument, Rukmini is agreeing with that, and then simultaneously giving a purport how that is correct, and then giving the bhakti purports. So here, so Krishna is telling that I don't follow the worldly path, and then if you are with me, you will always get the trouble. And then here, in the purport, they are saying that what is the worldly path? So the worldly path, Rukmini Mata, Mother Rukmini, she is telling that the worldly path is like currently who are very much attached to the world, material world. So that's like an animalistic society. So Pashubhi, she was telling that. And what is the animalistic society? In Srimad Bhagavatam, uh, it's a very nice verse, 239. So this
What?
in Srimad Bhagavatam, this verse comes 2:3:19. Swavidvarahoshtrakarei samstuta purusha pashuhu nayakkarna pathopeto jatu nama gadagrajaha. So who are those people who are not following the human standards? So Srimad Bhagavatam is telling men who are like dogs. Just sorry. So this is 2:3:19. Men who are like dogs, hogs, camels, and asses. Praise those men who never listen to the transcendental pastimes of Lord Krishna, the deliverer from evils. Gadagrajaha. So, so why these four animals like they're compared? Dogs means like so who are always excessive loyal to something which doesn't repay much. And then hogs, those who don't have any control over their food habits. They they eat anything and everything, so there is no restriction on the diet. And then camels are known for enjoying the cactus, so they get while eating the cactus, so they get blood, and then they're happy tasting their own blood. So camels. uh, so in human life also, so we spend time in sense gratification, spending our own blood, and then we take happiness in that. And then asses means, so for a lot of heavy load, we work a lot just for a few peanuts, like a small carrot, so asses so work like an ass. So that's how the world is. And then I before moving to US, I was in one country from the Southeast Asia. So there, people are so passionate about the work. And then if they say that unless you work 10 hours or 12 hours a day in the job, so then you are considered a lazy person. So you mean 12 hours you have to clock in. That's really an interesting thing. And then yeah, they drum it also, that particular notion that you have to work so hard, and that's how you're considered a successful citizen. And then yes, we need to work hard, but not just for so we have to have a balance of life, and then we need to work hard for our family, maintaining relationships, and then we need to work on our spiritual aspect also, or developing relationships with the society. So those things are also important, not just for our employer. Anyway, so that is that is what is the worldly thing which people praise. So if you are doing such advancement, but what is the problem? So such people, so they say that, okay, you are spending time in doing spiritual activities. So the worldly people, what is their perspective of spiritual people who are practicing spirituality? Okay, you are spending time on spirituality and everything. So what about your Krishna? So he's usurping others' property, and then he killed his own uncle, Mama, Kamsa, and then everything. So Lord is also immoral. So he breaks his word, promises, and then many times like that. He says he never lifts a weapon in Kurukshetra, but he lifted a chariot wheel. So your Lord is not that great. He's immoral. So that's what people accuse. But the thing is, people don't understand that okay, Krishna is usurping somebody's property and then everything, but everything belongs to Krishna. It's not that something belongs to us. Something belongs to us only for some point of time. But who is the ultimate owner? So that we need to recognize. We are taking everything from nature. We didn't create anything from nature. So, and then only for certain time it is in our possession, and then again it is taken back. Even for this land, 200 years ago, many of the countries didn't exist. Their borders were not there. So the countries are forming, and then nobody knows what will happen after 200 years ago, after. So, and then in between, we say that no, this is our property and we are the master of this particular thing. But these are existing, this land is existing for a lot of amount of time, many years, many centuries. So but we mark and then we say that we claim the proprietorship. So is that not immoral? So we are claiming somebody's things which are which are existing already, and then we are claiming proprietorship. So are we not thieves? So one interesting conversation happens between Srila Prabhupada and then one of the well-wishers in the early days. So that well-wisher comes, and then Prabhupada asks, so what do you do? When the well-wisher says that it's in Bharat. So well-wisher says that, so we deal with the glass industry. So Prabhupada was telling that actually people are thieves, and then so they are taking the property of the Lord. So it should be used properly for Krishna's service. So and then so this person says that okay, I deal with the glass manufacturing industry. So then he asks, so where do you get the raw material? So we use the earth. That is our main raw material. Did you create the earth? So then Prabhupada, that well-wisher understands what Prabhupada is saying. No, Prabhupada, it belongs to Lord. So then you are taking from the Lord himself. So you are a thief. So and then the well-wisher says, Prabhupada, I'm not that big thief. I give some donation also back to the temple. So Prabhupada smiles. So, but what Prabhupada was emphasizing is that everything belongs to Lord. So, and then if Lord is taking something, then it's not immoral. So people try to keep blame on the Lord. And then another point here, Rukmini Mata was telling that how to understand. Okay. So anyway, so those people who don't delve into the past times, so they may not be able to appreciate the Lord. Now, what is the way in which we can understand this sort of transcendental Lord? Because Lord's pastimes are transcendental, and then because they are transcendental, they are unclear, apashta. So then, what is the way to understand this? So clearly in Bhagavatam, it said, "Bhaktya mam abhijanati." So only through devotion we can understand Lord. And then devotion, many times it is mentioned even in Srimad Bhagavatam also. It is here in the translation beginning. Your movements inscrutable even for sages who relish the honey of your lotus feet are certainly incomprehensible for human beings. So the easiest path or way to understand Lord is Pada Sevanam, or serving the lotus feet of the Lord. And then what is the lotus feet of the Lord? His instructions, and then especially his devotees, exalted devotees. So all these great souls we call Jayom Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajaka Acharya. Vishnupada, so means the lotus feet of the Lord Vishnu. Bhaktipada, Krishna path. So this understanding or serving such great people, we will be able to understand the Lord. So when Lord Krishna is presenting all these arguments, Mother Queen Rukmini, she is presenting the counter arguments or the bhakti purports. So serving such exalted devotees or hearing from such exalted people, so we will be able to understand Lord Krishna directly, properly. So if we try to understand by our own, then we end up drawing conclusions like, okay, Lord Krishna is immoral. But approaching Lord Krishna through exalted people like Mother Rukmini, so we will be able to understand better. And then, yeah, so in the beginning we discussed, right? Lord has so many attributes. So, and then material life is a little bit boring because every time we need variety. But here, the same pastime we read again and again, like this, Mother Rukmini, and then discussions between Lord Krishna and Mother Rukmini. So these are nourishing, the simple example is we chant Hare Krishna, how long we chant Hare Krishna, till what point we chant Hare Krishna. So we chant Hare Krishna eternally. It's not that, we started and then for some years we do, and then we attain some siddhi and then we stop. So this is an eternal thing, and then so we constantly get the nourishment from this particular activity. So whatever activity, not just Hare Krishna, any activity in spiritual life or in the bhakti process is nitya, eternal. There is eternal and there is naimitika. Naimitika means like other religious paths. So we do some oblations to forefathers, or we do some rituals, and then we say that, oh, this ritual you have to do only on the no moon day. This ritual you have to do only for 1 year after the person passed away. After that, no need. So that is like, naimitika, means only for a limited period of time. But bhakti or devotional service is eternal. So it's always. And then if we have to do something eternal, so we'll be able to get some rasa or some happiness, some taste. And then this taste also keeps on increasing. So that's why people can do it eternally. And then how we can get this particular taste, by taking shelter of exalted people like, Mother Rukmini, by serving them. So sevon mukhehi jihvado swayameva spuratyada. So first thing is seva, serving the people. So how do we serve the great personalities like the Bhaktipad, so Vishnupad, or here Mother Rukmini? How do we serve? Just Mother Rukmini. Suppose we want to say serve Mother Rukmini. What is the best way to serve here? Just read this pastime, nothing else. Mother Rukmini enacted this pastime, along with Lord Krishna, so that for us to relish. So they are teaching the core principles. Lord is saying, okay, I am an unworldly person, and then if you be with me, then you will suffer. And then Mother Rukmini is telling, yes, you are an unworldly person, because the world people in general, they have, very grossly busy in sense gratification, and then your activities are, completely transcendental. So Mother Rukmani is supporting that. And just by hearing this particular, message, we are serving Mother Rukmani. So whatever she has, mm, uh, whatever she has said. So just I'll say one pastime. Mm, how deep this bhakti is? Can we get this taste? And then how do we get this strong taste in bhakti? So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, yeah, so the Chaitanya Charitamrita is full of this such pastimes where people relish bhakti so deeply. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he was on his travel to South India for 2 years, so he went to a place called Sri Rangam, the headquarters of Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya. So there, 4 months he stayed during the rainy season. So every day he used to go to the Sri Rangam temple. And then he used to see one particular Brahmana. He's trying to read Bhagavad Gita. He's not a great scholarly person. He's trying to read Bhagavad Gita every day. And then he's just crying tears, and his pronunciation is also not that great. And then others who are very knowledgeable, they are making fun of him. So then once Mahaprabhu approached him, and then he said, my dear sir, I see every day you trying to read Bhagavad Gita, and then I understand you are struggling with it. People are also making fun, but you are not giving up. What is the matter? So what? So he says two things. Sir, I'm doing this because my spiritual master told me that it's very difficult. You just read this Bhagavad Gita. That's it. uh, Remaining things are very difficult for you, so you just read this Bhagavad Gita. So my spiritual master instructed me, so on basis of his instruction, I'm trying to read this Bhagavad Gita. And then what is happening? Spiritual master has empowered, and then he's following his spiritual master's instruction to the T. And then whenever he's opening the first page of Bhagavad Gita, so he's seeing this particular picture. Maybe the picture is there. Lord Krishna, one who is the supreme personality of Godhead, having all six opulences, Mother Lakshmi, Rukmini, serving him. So he is taking the very menial position of a charioteer, and then Arjuna is driving the chariot. So how compassionate my Lord is. Seeing this, I'm getting tears, and then I can't move ahead. So and that is the essence, to understand that how Lord is so compassionate, and then he's ready to do bhakta vatsal. He's ready to do anything for his devotees. So that is the understanding which we get. That's the perfection of the understanding of reading Bhagavad Gita. So he has already achieved that perfection, even though his reading is improper. Okay. So this is what Mahaprabhu appreciated so much. And he said that, sir, you already achieved the perfection. So this is happening. He got that perfection not because of his scholarship, but because he is executing the order of his spiritual master, and then he got the realization, blessings of Lord within the heart. So similarly, here we have Rukmini Mata. So she is so nicely explaining the inner meaning of whatever Lord said, and then she's telling, how we can understand the Lord also better, not by just following the worldly path, but understanding the transcendental nature of the Lord. So we summarize here. So we are dealing with the dynamics. Bhakti, we said it's a very dynamic process, and then there's a exchange of relationships, and then exchange of lot of emotions. Mother Rukmini and then Lord Krishna. So Lord sometimes gets defeated, and then sometimes the devotees also accept the Lord's will. And then we saw how the animalistic society is very busy in, their habits, and then their motivations uh, may not be giving enough time for thinking beyond the materialistic perspective. And then so they keep some acquisitions on the Lord, and then but actually from spiritual perspective we can get all these answers. And then how we'll get the spiritual perspective is by serving spiritually advanced people. So we get all these realizations, the truth knowledge is revealed. So thank you so much for your patient hearing. Any questions or any comments?
Hi, Krishna, Krishna Daya Prabhu. We actually have a question in the chat from Poppy, and I don't see her raising her hand, so I'll just ask it for her. She said, was Krishna provoking Rukmini Mata because he wants to enjoy the sweetness in her reactions? Because provoking seems like a negative connotation.
Oh, I'm sorry, I don't know what is the exact word which Prabhupada used or something like that. Basically, he's trying to incite some anger. Uh, enjoy the sweetness in her reactions. Yes, how a devotee will respond, that Krishna doesn't interfere. Krishna doesn't know. Gaur-Sharan Prabhu was telling. So Lord is always eager, to know the response of a devotee. So, so yeah, Lord keeps devotees in different situations, just to glorify the devotee, just to establish the supreme position of the devotee also. So that's the main motivation, just to incite anger, because Rukmini is always in a very humble mode, and then always serving Mother Rukmini. So Lord wanted to test. This happened even in another similar pastime in Chaitanya Leela, when Advaita Acharya is in terms of age, he's elderly to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is always giving respect to Advaita Acharya. And Advaita Acharya feels uncomfortable. Oh, Lord is the master and I am the servant. So then what happens? Like Mahaprabhu is very strict with impersonal philosophy. So once Advaita Acharya assembles a big a group of devotees, and then he starts speaking about impersonalism, and then impersonalism is the best, and then everything. So Mahaprabhu becomes so angry. Is this what for you? You have called me from Vaikuntha? And then he goes, and then in front of all the assembly, he beats Advaita Acharya Prabhu. Advaita Acharya Prabhu is already an elderly man, so he becomes angry externally. So, and then Advaita Acharya Prabhu is happy. Oh, and I'm happy now. Lord Chaitanya has accepted me as his servant. So, this sort of pastimes are like to invoke some special rasa. So, Advaita Acharya Prabhu was successful, but here Krishna failed. So, that is the greatness of devotees. So, yeah, so this is what.
Thank you, Krishna Daya Prabhu. And we also have some really great comments in the chat by Bhakta Hugo, but I don't know if he would like to read them, if he's available, or we should read them for him. I don't see him unmuting. Okay, so we'll read them. He said, the devotees always situate themselves at the feet of the Lord. Therefore, if we are serving the devotees, then we will automatically find ourselves at the feet of the Lord. And he said, on this point of the practice of bhakti being eternal, unlike other Vedic practices, I'm thinking back to the 8th offense against the holy name. Chanting, and more broadly bhakti yoga, is categorically different from the various practices given in the Vedas, which are all tied with rules, regulations, prescriptions, limitations, etc.
Yeah, that's true. So the others don't strengthen our connection to the Lord. So they are just, as he said, to overcome certain tough situations. They work. It's not that they don't work. They have their, potencies, but that will not evoke all these emotions or detachment from the worldly things. So we will not be able to get. In fact, that will lead us to further entanglement, like, so the knots. So yeah, but this one, the holy name of the Lord, bhakti process, any single activity, it will not lead us to entanglement. Yeah, just like hearing, as simple as hearing. Yeah.
Thank you, Krishna Daya Prabhu. Does anybody else have any questions or comments? We've gone through everything in the chat. Temple room, does anybody have anything they'd like to share?
Hare Krishna, Krishna Daya Prabhu, Obeisance to you. Wonderful class. Thank you so much. All the wonderful pastimes. I did have one question regarding the verse, Prabhu. Just the last line of the verse. It explains that, and just as your activities are transcendental, O all-powerful Lord, so too are those of your followers. So I'm just wondering how you can help us to understand that we may be transcendental, but maybe we're not, or how does that work exactly if you're a follower that you are transcendental? Does that make sense? Question?
Yeah. I thank you for catching that point. I didn't go in that direction, but yeah, that's a really tricky thing, because sometimes we take that point to ourselves, rather I take that point. We also think we are that category that can be transcendental. So, but just one small past thing. So here we see Advaita Acharya Prabhu speaking impersonalism. So that is really vague. He's the leader of the Vaishnava community, and then everybody looks at him to seek inspiration, and then he's speaking impersonalism. Sometimes, devotees behave in that way, especially very exalted people. So we need to be very cautious. Vaishnavera Kriya Mutra Vijnana Bhujai. So it's not, we should not imitate also. Just like we can't imitate the Lord. Recently, our Prabhu, Anupam Prabhu, he was telling, so there's one Paundraka, he tried to imitate the Lord, and then he said, "Hey, Krishna, I am the actual Krishna. You are not Krishna. You are just son of Vasudev. I am the actual Krishna. So give me all my emblems. You stole my emblems. Give me the Sudarshana and then everything back." So everybody in the court, they were laughing, and then so people were imitating. So we can't imitate Lord, and we can't imitate the great devotees. Yeah, one very nice pastime. Shankaracharya is the expansion of Lord Shiva himself. So uh, he has his followers. So everybody were going, and then they went to a wine shop, and then he said, "Everything is one." Shankaracharya said, and then I was, "Everything is one." Yeah, Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma. And then he took the wine and he drank. So everybody was, "Hey, yeah." And then all the followers took wine and then drank. And then Shankaracharya went ahead. And then he saw a blacksmith. And then he saw there's a molten, whatever that furnace, there's some molten thing. And he said, Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma, everything is one. And then he took that molten thing and then he drank. And then all the followers were like, they ran away, because they can't imitate. So yes, definitely the activities of the devotees are also transcendental, because Lord is transcendental. The exalted people are so closely with the Lord, so they also sometimes on the transcendental platform. So, but if we imitate, then it is not good for us. Just we can learn lessons from them. So that's the thing. Maybe you can say better things, Prabhu.
That was wonderful. Thank you I love that example. Perfect. Hare Krishna. I think we're ready for a darshan.
Thank you, Krishna Daya Prabhu. Wonderful class. Your devotees, turn on your cameras. Put on your best look. You're going to be seen by the Lord.
Govinda Mari Krishna Vedam Karata Maravindadanaya Taksam Bhagavatam Samasitam Sura Sundarangam Govinda Hari Krishna Anganiyasya Sakaman Kriya Priti Manti Asyanti Panti Kalyanti Shiram Jaganti Vigrasya Govinda Hari Krishna Govinda Hari Krishna Govinda Hari Krishna Hari Krishna Hari Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Namah Bhajami Govinda Hare Krishna Namah Bhajami
Yeah, Kirana Muladhar, Shigur Chandra. So beautiful. Krishna Daya Prabhu, where are you? I wanted to glorify you, Krishna Daya Prabhu. Okay, you left. All right. A question. What is the Jai Srila Prabhupada? What is the difference between following a great soul and imitating a great soul? What's the criteria here? We can answer. Because we want to do what Prabhupada did, but we don't want to imitate. We want to follow Prabhupada. Bhima Prabhu, can you come to class?
Prashant Prabhu has his hand up.
Yeah, so I think the difference is when you imitate, you try to do exactly what the person you're imitating was doing, which may not be okay because times change. But when you follow, you try to understand what are the underlying principles behind what that person was doing, and you try to follow those principles in the current times.
Right. Yeah, that's right. We want to see the principle and apply time, place, and circumstances. Thank you, Prashant. Yeah, great. It's been the theme lately: time, place, and circumstances. Yeah, it takes intelligence. Okay. Any other contributions to the yajna?
I also wanted to glorify Krishna Daya Prabhu because I really appreciate he told the story of Sakshi Gopal deity, and I just thought that the way he told it was also very sweet. I feel like every time he tells these pastimes, he always, I don't know, it always feels like he's relishing in the sweetness, and he wants us to relish in the sweetness as well. And I just think of Krishna Daya Prabhu as a very sweet person too. So it just all makes sense to me. And I was just wondering if anybody had ever seen that deity, like if anybody been to India and seen that deity, if they had any experiences with it.
Yeah, I've seen that deity, Damodar Priya. Yeah, it's very transcendental, and you go and experience there, especially in Vrindavan. It's beautiful. Hare Krishna.
Carmela, did the deity walk when you saw him?
Well, I mean, I'm not that fortunate to see Krishna walk, but I'm sure he was walking for many people in there who are very transcendental souls, and you can see him. But he smiles for everyone. He really smiles.
Yeah. Jai Sakshi Gopal, the walking deity ki jai. I think children will appreciate a walking deity of Krishna. That'll be fun.
Okay.
My sister, she was a pujari at the Bhakti Center, and they were shopping for a new wig for Radha Muladhar. And they came to the wig maker, and the wig maker asked them, "So what's the size?" And they were trying to describe the person, and the wig maker wasn't getting it. He said, "But what? This person is this tall? What kind of person is this? Who's this for?" So they had fun explaining what they need. Yeah, because Krishna may not make sense materially, but always makes sense spiritually. Yeah, and Krishna comes in the form in which we can see and appreciate him and relate to him, which is the deity. Srimad Bhagavatam is also a form of Krishna. Holy name is the form of Krishna. Devotees association is a form of Krishna. Right? Okay, nice seeing everybody. Open mic moment. Anyone wants to say anything? Open mic.
Have a great day.
How wonderful is Krishna?
Wonderful is Krishna. Yes, how wonderful is Krishna. Thank you, Anuj Prabhu. Thank you. Okay, Hare Krishna. Love you all. Haribol.